Hey y'all, happy Sunday. I'm feeling good. I'm a little drained. Um, I'm drained to the point I wonder if I should even make Sundays the day that I record. I'm actually recording a little bit early. If you look over in the corner here and see out my window, you can see it's a little bit still light outside. So at least I'm not waiting so much to the last minute. But it's gonna be another short video. Um, it's just been such an amazing Sunday, and it's funny for me to say that, but, like, I was writing in my journal when I got home from church today, and I remember saying that it was a phenomenal day so far, and the funny thing is, it's funny how as you get closer to God or just as you change and your walk in life changes, it's funny, how the meaning of a phenomenal day can change. Um, for me specifically, like, actually the whole weekend has been a pretty good weekend. I had an option to get into some plans on a Friday night, but to be honest, I really didn't want to. I was gonna have to drive across the water to do so, and I just didn't want to deal with all of the traffic and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I love hanging with my girls from work, and I love being able to celebrate us and, each of us when it's our birthdays and stuff like that. So that part was kind of like, but it also made me happy to do what I felt was right for myself, right? And as crazy as that sounds, like, for some people who drive all the time or people who enjoy driving or whoever, one might say, "Oh, girl, you don't want to drive across the water. What's the big deal?" I didn't want to do it. And one of the things I'm trying to get better at is just not doing what I don't want to do and doing what feels right for me in the moment. So just not going because I really didn't feel like it set right in my spirit and I didn't want to take myself to the changes of um not so much being in traffic, but just being a part of all of the interstate shenanigans and all of the things they got going on with whatever they building and whatever they doing. Um, that was good for me. Saturday also, one of the things I've kind of realized is that I tend to show up for others in a way that I think I kind of be expecting them to do for me. And, I'm sure you've heard the saying before, and I know somebody told me or I heard it somewhere, but like you can't expect yourself out of others. You know what I mean? Like, I go up, not only do I go above and beyond for people, but I'm one of those people like you ain't even got to so much ask me or whatever. I got eyeballs. I see a need. I want to fill a need. You know what I'm saying? I think I say that, but I swear that was on a movie. Is it Robots? I think it was Robots, and that's something I watched, when my sons were little. They grown now, but anyway, I'm one of those people who I'll see that something is needed or I'll see that, I can be helpful in this way and, I just go ahead and do it. And then, you know what I mean, my feelings get hurt. Sadly, this weekend it was specific with my sons. Not of doing anything crazy because they're not disrespectful. They're very good young men, all of the things, but like they just don't necessarily pick up on the things that they need to do, or things that would make it easier for us as a household, things for me as a mom. And I'm always trying to make life easier for them, even though as young adults, obviously we're not talking about little boys that I'm raising and it's my job to do all of the things for them. This is more like they're older, they're making conscious decisions and choices. And I still just try to step in when I can and make things easier or whatever the case might be or be considerate, and a lot of times that's not reciprocated. And then also what I end up feeling like a lot of things are expected of me because I just automatically do them. And I had to realize that, I ain't always My internet been trying to act up lately. But anyway, um, on Saturday, I almost had to force myself to kind of go out on my own. I didn't take my favorite girl. I didn't take my grandbaby with me. I let her stay home with her dad. And I just went out and just had some me time. I just, I said I did some shopping. And just kind of I ran some errands, I did some shopping, and I just kind of moved at my own leisure. And don't get me wrong, it was a lot harder because I was worried about what she was doing, and I was worried about if she was chilling, and I was worried about if my son was able to get some rest before he worked because he works overnight. And it can be a lot to like have a toddler and rest and do all of the things. Um, and I'm sure the more I do it, the easier it will become, right? But it's one of those things where I just have to learn to prioritize myself and make sure that I am putting myself first. Most importantly, I have to make sure that I am showing up for myself the way that I have shown up for others, right? If I'm going to go above and beyond for anybody, I look real good going above and beyond for myself. And it's like I said, sometimes it'll be something big, and sometimes it's as small as saying no when I don't feel like doing something, or sometimes it's going to be something along the lines of just taking the day for me. Like, yeah, I mean, I still ended up watching her when I got home while my son went to work. But realistically speaking, while it's good for me to be available, so that he can get rest and all of the things before work, it's also up to him, and it's part of his responsibility as a young parent to figure out how he's going to get rest while she's here. Because, God forbid something were to happen to me, he would still get her on the weekends, and he would still have to figure out how to get rest and manage her day and all of the things. So, um like I said, that just made it's been a peaceful weekend. The funny thing is though, on Saturday I didn't write in my prayer journal. Just, the day kind of got away from me. And Sunday this morning, when I got up, the alarm went off. I was moving slow. Um, I just wasn't moving in a manner to have that quiet time, my 30 to 45 minutes that I like to take to be able to write in the journal. I mean, I still prayed, and I still prayed because, I mean, realistically speaking, it's good to be able to like isolate yourself, get down on your knees, however you want to do it and pray. But you can pray as you're moving around. You can pray while you're in the shower. You can pray while you wash the dishes. You can do all the things. So I still talk to God all day. Um, but it's funny because last Sunday, um, one of the mothers of our church, like we get together in the morning, the people that are ministry workers, like on the praise team or worship assistants, whatever, the ministers, whoever, we have to get there early. And one of the mothers of the church, Mother Guy, she asked me, did I feel comfortable praying, like doing our little morning prayer we do together? And I'll be honest, and this is gonna sound a little shallow, but one of my favorite songs, I had put in a little song request. It's Nobody But Jesus. I want to say it's by Maverick City Music. Me and my favorite girl, we were singing Nobody But Jesus. My son had joined in, and I'm not always the best when put on the spot anyway, but I just couldn't clear my mind enough to think of what I might want to say in prayer. I'm still a baby in Christ. She's still learning. So I told her, I was like, she said, only if you ready, because mother's so sweet. Only if you ready. And I said, no, mother, not this Sunday, but I'll pray next Sunday. So me being who I am, I done spent all week obsessing over said prayer because that's what I do. Um, I didn't have some mornings. I'm talking about woke up out of my dream praying, saying the prayer, trying to get all of the stuff right. I went to bed last night thinking of all of the things that I can say, trying to have it so I had bullet points so I can like boom, 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 all of the things. Excuse me. We get to church. Um, we get to church and we go to pray. And mother didn't even remember that I said I was gonna pray. That's the funny thing about it. Mother didn't even remember that I said I was gonna pray. She was actually looking to get somebody else in the circle to pray. And I'll be honest, part of me was like, girl, forget that preparation or whatever. Just, let it go. And when the next time she call on you, then, you do it. But I actually went on ahead and said, you know what, mother, I'll go ahead and pray. I did my little prayer. It was nowhere near what I had practiced, of course, because your mind well, my mind goes blank when I'm on the spot. But I felt like I prayed for what needed to be prayed for. I said some things that I felt like needed to be said, just based off of what I had been seeing in the congregation of the people who come early, and just how the mood was, and a couple people that I had been talking to. So, I mean, I was very, very proud of myself, one, for just kind of pushing forward and doing it even when it wasn't kind of expected, because I'm definitely one to just shy on into the background. Um, and then they got me. So then we go from being in the front, and then like the praise team, we head to the back about 10:15, just to start getting our minds right and kind of getting ourselves together so that we can go out at 10:28, 10:30 to go ahead and start the praise and worship. So then I ended up praying again, because they was like, okay, girl, well, you on the road, just do it again. Um, so I felt really good about that. I mean, again, like I said, it's funny because the prayers that I pray at home, and when I think about having to pray, baby, I be having all of the things to say. I be thinking of all the good things, because one, I'm just sitting here thinking on my own. But again, I'm just proud of myself. It was something that I was able to push through and do. I think it shows my growth in the Lord. And I am just appreciative, and I am happy to be able to grow in those manners. Now, one of the things that I want to say is I love my church. Excuse me, my allergies. I love my church so much. And just, for those that are wondering, my church is Bread of Life Ministry. We are on 930 Pecan Point Road. That's right off of Virginia Beach Boulevard. So if you ever want to come and check us out, come and date us a little bit, you looking for a church home, you just want to come and see what we about, whatever, by all means, come and check us out. But when I tell you I love my church, I love my church. And I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why. First of all, my pastor and my first lady have to be two of the most down to earth people I have ever met. So like when you talk to them, when you see them, when they speak, you don't feel like you don't feel like you're talking to a pastor or first lady, because they just seem like regular people. They seem like regular people. Um you know what I'm saying? I can't even say it any more simpler than that. My pastor is absolutely hilarious. He is a typical, not a typical. He's a man with a calling. He doesn't seem like this man on a pedestal that is untouchable, that is a perfect man. How you see some pastors and stuff, you just be like I would never even carry on a conversation with them, because they just seem so far up here and they seem so untouchable. He is just like a regular guy. He's a dad. He's a man of God. He's a brother. He's an uncle. He works. He's just a regular man with this huge calling on his shoulders, and he be killing it. He be killing it because he breaks down the word in a way that is understandable, it's relatable, and it is also given to us in a way that you literally can apply it. Like we all say that, right? Like you can read the Bible, you can pick whatever, but the way that my pastor delivers a message to us, it is always in a manner that there are going to be things that we talked about today that is going to show up in this week, or it'll be things that I was thinking about last week going into the Sunday, and he's going to give me confirmation, and he is going to break it down in a manner that I can really understand and be able to use in my day to day. Like I said, I know I'll never be much of a scripture quoting kind of girl, but I can quote the mess out of my old pastor. Okay, I'm quick to say it because my pastor said quick, because he gives it to me in a way that sticks to me. And I'm telling you, I know that man sit at home and probably work all of the days and all of the times working on these sermons and getting it all together and loading it into the iPad and having all of the scriptures go into it. But when I tell you the one thing that the Lord is going to do, the one thing the Lord is going to do is download some stuff to him while he is on the way to church, like coming from, where he lives. or is going to download something in the middle of his sermon, and he be talking about whatever he say he gonna talk about, Applegate or something he said he was talking about today, and that man was talking about everything besides Applegate, okay? But he was giving us um gems, and he was giving us nuggets that are truly going to just help us in real life. And then my first lady, um she's so caring, um she's a mom, she's a friend, she's a confidant if you need her. She'll never make you feel like you're a bother to her or whatever. She's relatable. Like, for me, one, her and our birthdays are the same day. And I ain't even mad. I ain't even mad that she and I are birthday twins. And the fact that, when you share a birthday with somebody, especially in a situation like church, there's gonna be a lot of things celebrated for her because she's the first lady of the church. And like I said, I feel honored to share the same birthday with her. And even in the midst of um her being celebrated on our day, right? It makes me feel good to share that day with her, and to also see some similarities in the two of us. Like, she's a good role model. She shows me that you can be more than what your fears and anxieties tell you that you can be. She shows me that you can do things afraid. You can, push through and still be great no matter what you feel like you can be. She shows me that when God puts a call on your life, or he gives you certain gifts, um all you got to do is lean into those gifts and be obedient, and that he will take care of the rest of it. So like I said, I absolutely love him. um One of the things I also love is the fact that, so like, when we got to church, one of the brothers in on the praise team, he kind of came, and just we come in, and we shooting the bubble and talking and all of the things, and I could just tell that he was off, like he just wasn't who he normally is when he comes to church. You could tell he was going through something, or whatever the case might be. I was able to give him a couple words of encouragement, right? um just for him to turn around, and then, baby, he ministered through our praise and worship. And so it just goes to show you, like, that's what I love. I love that us as babies in Christ, we are able to share encouragement, share a little piece of the word, even if it's not the word. If we're able to remind each other of how God has worked in our lives, how God has been good to us, how God has allowed us to be undefeated in anything that we've gone through up until today, right? Whether we realize it or not, the fact that he allows us to keep fighting and winning, even when we don't feel like we fighting and winning. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of things. It's so nice to be able to do that, and then watch that person go from being kind of down, or kind of like a shell of who they normally are, and then showing up in a manner throughout praise and worship, like, just like completely shifting the atmosphere. Then, to top it all off, my son is on the praise team with not with me, let me be clear, because I'm on the praise team with him because he joined probably almost a year before I did. My son and I are both on the praise team together. It's one of those things where um I love being on the praise team with him because I get to watch him grow in an area that I don't. We both sing, but he I get to watch him grow in something that I don't have anything to do with, as far as like teaching him. Like, obviously, what I'm saying, I sang with my sisters. He obviously gets his voice from me and my side of the family. Definitely. But this is something where I've gotten to watch his growth without being a direct teacher in it, if it makes sense. To be honest, he ends up teaching me more in this particular area than anything. So we had practice. My son is, just for context, my son is chill. He has a laid back energy, you know what I'm saying? Not super over the top. He loves worship songs, that's slow. You did not create me to worry. Stuff like that, where it's just like all into God is good and this is what he's done. He's not like super, super hype. He's young, but he's just not like super, super hype. He gets this song. It's called Lifted Me. I'm not even sure exactly who it's by. Of course, maybe I should have looked it up. But it's super hype. The guy is super hype. It's one of those over the top, shout all over the church kind of songs. And when I first listened to it, just again, knowing my boy, I was like, maybe they should have got, I was thinking maybe, we got a couple other people on the praise team that are more like hype. So I thought it was kind of, interesting that it was given to him, but also I was told that it was to challenge him, and kind of get him outside of his comfort zone. We go to practice on Thursday. He's getting through it, but I can tell he's not 100% comfortable or where he needs to go or what the expectation is, right? So to be honest, I ain't even really we practice on Thursday. I ain't really say nothing else about the song or nothing because I wasn't really sure what was gonna come of it. But some things you just gotta sit back and let it happen how it's gonna happen. Baby, that boy drunk that energy drink because he worked overnight on Saturday nights into Sunday. That boy drunk that energy drink. And I remember before we went out there, I was just kind of saying, like, listen, you might not be able to do everything that this man is doing because the man was doing a whole lot. And he was singing like pretty high. And my son is like a tenor or whatever. And I was just like, you might not be able to bring exactly what he is bringing or do it exactly how he's doing it, but you need to bring something. And you're going to have to bring some real energy because like it was the closing song and that is what the song required. It required good energy. Baby, we went from breaking every chain. The chains are broken of depression, of fear, of distraction, of all of the things. We broke them chains up, honey. And then we praised them and then Marquise gave us a sermon in between there. We praised him in advance for all of the things that he's doing. I want to say Marquise, he gave us a little piece of a sermon within that too. Then we headed on to the Lord not passing us. We did a little pass me not an old hymn to get everybody, you know what I'm saying, hyped up and stuff. All of the people that are more, old school and all of the things. We sang that all hard. And then, baby, let me tell you something about my boy. My boy, when I tell you that he sang that song like he been singing that song since the song came out, you would have thought that he made the song. Okay, we was actually singing with the track like in the background, just to make us fuller and like Jalen said, to give us more discipline on following the song correctly. Baby, my son said, to hell with the track. We're gonna sing the song, okay? And that's what we did. We sang that song up and down. It was hype. The church was hype. The energy was on a million. I registered a whole workout on that song, okay? Because my little heartbeat, I was up there jamming as hard as I could be and still be in church, to be quite honest. We had a ball on that song. I was so proud of my boy. Y'all just do not know. I was so happy all on the inside, to the point that by the time we made it off this, we made it off the stage. We still singing the song. Now the pastor leading. We still singing the song, walking around to the church to our seats, child. And the next thing I know, your girl is shouting all over the place. And like, let's be real. I ain't never shouted a day in my life. Okay. And when I tell you, however, I am still drained and exhausted because it is a whole experience. I feel so much freer and lighter. My youngest son, he shouts quite often actually, but like, to be honest, he's always been a dancer. So I'm not really surprised, right? Um, yeah, I shouted my little heart out. If I had any breath left, anything left, I probably would still be shouting. They would have had to stop beating the drum like on the drum line for me to stop. Okay. Uh It was truly an experience, and I really attribute it all to, like I said, from us coming in that morning and having to speak words of encouragement into each other to just get to where we needed to be, from me being brave enough to volunteer to pray and taking myself outside of my comfort zone, for us to get up there and sing them songs like we did, for my boy to kill that song like he did. Like, he sliced that thing up and broke it down to his level and built it back up, like no joke. No joke. I can't even describe to you how well he did on that song. For all of that, then the pastor to carry it on around like it was just all on me. And I'll be honest, I've been praying to God to release me from caring about what other people think, to be able to just shout, because like pastor always say, if my worship if my level of worship dictates what the Lord is going to do for me, then I need to get it off me. And even if not even that, because it's not even just about praising him to want to get something, but to be able to show the level of happiness and joy that I felt in the moment of just the way the service came together, the level of joy and proudness. I know that ain't a word, but that I felt, and just watching my boy flourish and really just allow God to use him in the moment. Like when I tell you, he set that atmosphere in a way, it won't nothing that could have been done besides me shouting and hollering and dancing all over that daggone floor. My grandbaby said, "Grandma, you was dancing and screaming, ah!" But I'm telling you something good. It was exactly what I needed. It was exactly what we all needed. And I am so grateful and I am so thankful for those moments. And I honestly can't imagine that I would have gotten said moments at any other church, right? Because my church is so special. We are a whole bunch of misfits, probably people who have gone to other churches and didn't fit in, or whatever the case might be, because like I said, before coming to Bread of Life, um I didn't even really have a desire to go to church anymore, just because of like all of the things that churches do, the pretentiousness of church, the expectations. Like they always say, Jesus said, "Come as you are," but then they be looking at you crazy if you come in a pair of jeans and a daggone t-shirt or whatever the case might be. And it's like those people who wouldn't be accepted anywhere else. We are at my church, those people and anybody really are accepted with open arms. I watched so many of us grow in such a manner. I was just listening to my niece tell the girl today, girl, because I don't even want to hug you, because I went to hug you last week and you threw your hand up and didn't want to hug me. If anybody know my niece, you know the one thing about it is two things for certain. One, she ain't coming to just give nobody no hug, for one, okay? And for two, if she was trying to give you a hug and you snubbed her in any way, she probably wouldn't even be talking to you. So the fact that not only did she talk about it, she still hugged the girl and she still stood there to talk out those emotions. God is good. When I find myself walking up to people and just hugging them, girl, where's my hug? I miss you. I ain't seen you. Standing around my pastor leaving the church before me, and I'm still out there fellowshipping and socializing and all of the things. There is growth happening, and I truly enjoy it. I am enjoying this walk. I am enjoying this time as I get closer to God, as I get closer to my church family and all of the things, right? It's been a roller coaster of emotions for me. And it has been, like I said, I'm really truly starting to tap into my joy, and that is a beautiful thing, right? Pair that with me, advocating for myself more, putting myself first, sticking to goals that I've set. I've still been working out my 2 days a week, no matter what. I'm looking to try to slide me a third day in there somehow. I'm getting better with my food choices and portion control, and just, the things that I am putting into my body. I am so proud of me, right? And if you are out here doing any of the things, pushing yourself, being consistent, even getting up here, because like I said, I've been drained. So I might think about switching what day I record, but we'll see. Um, if you out here putting goals together for yourself and you pushing through, and of course you're gonna mess up sometimes or it's not gonna be exactly what you want, but if you out here pushing towards your goals and pushing yourself towards greatness, if you don't take anything else from this message today, be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself for doing better for you, because the better that you are for you, the better that you can be for everybody else. And it'll change the way that you're able to show up for everybody else. And then you're also setting a standard for how people should show up for you. That's pretty much all I got today. For those who stayed around for this whole entire time, I thank y'all. I love y'all. And if you didn't, as I always say, I'm going to try again next time to hold your attention. Everybody be blessed and everybody have a good night. All right, bye.